Remember, please get your parents' consent before attempting any activity.
Hey y'all, this is Miss Ross, the Activity Boss. Today, we're filming our episode from our very own Camp Chandler Tonsmeyer, which is our summer camp. And our summer camp opens up on May 11th. You can go to bgcsouthal.org/camp to register. Today's activity is a really fun math-focused lesson, and I'm going to teach you how to tinker around with 3D shapes online, and we're going to learn about 3D modeling and 3D printing. So today's lesson is all about 3D shapes. So 3D shapes have length, width, and height, so they have depth to them. So you can think about 2D shapes versus 3D shapes by thinking about a piece of circular paper versus a ping pong ball. So a 2D shape, a circle, is just flat. It doesn't have any depth to it. But a ping pong ball is a sphere, which is a 3D shape, and it has depth to it. So if you haven't already learned, you'll learn eventually in math class that you can find the volume of a 3D shape. And so if we found the volume of this, we could figure out how much liquid would actually fit inside this ping pong ball. So today we're going to learn about 3D modeling. And 3D modeling is basically the process of making a 3D representation of a shape, but on a computer. So 3D modeling is really useful because you can use your 3D model to print it out using something called 3D printing. So 3D printing would print out any shape you can imagine that was created on a computer. And so it's really useful, and people use it for doing things like creating what a part of a car or a plane would look like before they actually make it out of metal, or you could use it to build prosthetics for people who are missing an arm or a leg, or you could even use it to make face shields for doctors. So someone actually made a foot for a duck who is missing a foot. And so it's a duck named Buttercup, and they 3D printed out a new foot for the duck because he was missing a foot, so he could still run around and swim like normal. So 3D printing and 3D modeling is a really interesting process, and I'm going to teach you how to do it on your own computer at home.
So to start, you're going to go to tinkercad.com and then click on 3D design. And then click Start Tinkering. And you have to make an account, so you can create a personal account. And you can do that with an email. And then you're going to hit Create New Design and make sure you're on 3D Designs. So here you have your work plane. And this is how you toggle around and see different things. So you can go beneath the work plane actually and see underneath it. And you can turn left and right. And then you can also zoom in too. And if you hit home, it returns to this view. So we have all these different 3D shapes that you can use. So you can put a box or a sphere. I'm going to use this sphere. And just click it and drag and drop it. And you can zoom in more so you can see it. And then there are a couple of different ways you can move it. You can move it left and right just by dragging, and forward and backwards by dragging. And then if you click on this little cone here, you can move it up and down. So I can move it like halfway in between the work plane. And then if you move your perspective like that, you can see that it's halfway in and halfway out of the work plane. I'm gonna move it back up a little bit. And then you can change the size of it too. So all these little squares change the size, and these change so if you click on this button, it'll change, I believe, the height and the width. And if you hold shift, it'll change it proportionally. And then if you click a black square, see it's just changing the width right now. But if I click one of these squares, it'll change the width and the height. And then you can also move it around as well. And move it around this way. So you have a lot of control over the shapes. And then you can change the color too. And then a cool thing that you can do is you can scribble. And so you could draw anything. So I'm just gonna use cursive to write hello. So if I were to print this off as a 3D design, I'd want it to be all connected so that it just prints off in one single piece. And you can see that it's next to my sphere. And so you can edit and do different things. If you hit done, you can see what I just drew. And you can change the height of it. And toggle around and look at it. You can also use this text tool as well if you wanted to type your name or something and print off your name. And so those are all going to print off as separate little pieces, right? Because they're not connected like this is, and the sphere is just one piece. And so the cool thing is that you can export your designs for 3D printing. So I'll show you what that kind of looks like. So they're in Tinkercad as well and finished making their shape, and they're connected to a 3D printer. So they're gonna hit print, and then it starts printing the exact shape that was in Tinkercad that you made. And it's an actual physical 3D object. So if I did that, and I was connected to a 3D printer, I could print out this hello, and then I would have an actual physical object like that, which is really cool. So you can mess around in Tinkercad and see what you can make. There are a lot of other functions that you can use. You can use this button to combine shapes together. You can do all sorts of different things, and there are lessons as well on Tinkercad if you want to learn more.
3D modeling is used all the time by animators. So movies are made either using 2D animation or 3D animation. And 2D animation is flat drawings, and it's a series of drawings that are played. So you can think of movies like the classic Disney movies like Beauty and the Beast or Little Mermaids. That's made using 2D animation. So movies like Frozen or Toy Story, where it's a 3D figure, not a flat figure, is made using 3D modeling like we just learned. So when we were doing 3D modeling together, that's actually what animators use to make some of our favorite movies like Frozen. So I hope you guys had fun today learning about 3D modeling, 3D shapes, and 3D printing. If you do this activity, you can post it on social media and tag us using @ and hashtag BGCSouthal. And you can register for our summer camp by going to bgcsouthal.org/camp. And remember that space is limited. See you next time.